4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Thursday. This is your Mental Health Warrior podcast. I'm super excited because, as you can see, and we're going to jump into that in a minute, there's two people on the screen, and you're going to find out why I'm so lucky to have such a nice person on the screen with me today. But hey, I hope everybody's having a great Thursday. I hope you enjoyed my mental health minute today. I talked about, how you just always seem to have problems creep up and you always just keep fixing them. That's all you can do is just keep fixing them. But, if you aren't listening to the podcast, just I want you to remember, tell your buddy, tell your friend that you can rewatch the podcast on Reads Across America Radio. They replay it at 8 p.m. on Fridays and 10 p.m. on Sundays, and it's super easy to find. You just download your favorite radio app, whether it's iHeartRadio app, the Odyssey app, or the TuneIn app. You search for Wreath, and then you just click follow for Reach Across America Radio, and you can watch my program and all the great programs that they have on there. Super excited to be teamed up with them. Also, you got the link, the QR code to the left. That's the link to the Mental Health Warrior book. You can go on and order it. Is still available now. It's in limited quantities right now, but hey, if we sell too many, I'll just sign another contract with Amplify and get some more printed. But that's how that works. But I am your mental health warrior. This is Cliff. I am Cliff, and I want to introduce this young lady who's sitting across from me right now. And once she gets done, if you guys if you remember a while back, Lynn and I did the Throat Punch Monday podcast for a little while together. And she's come on my podcast a couple of times, and we got to talking and asked her if she'd be interested in coming on and being a co-host with me here on the Mental Health Warrior, because I really enjoyed working with her. So, Lynn, the audience who don't know who you are or do know who you are and been wondering what you've been up to, I will turn the floor over to you.
Thanks, Cliff. I'm so happy to be back for everybody. What's up? If you don't know me, I am Len Clark, otherwise known as Pacific Tita with Veteran Trash Talk. I'm also with Irreverent Warriors now as their local coordinator. So I think the last time we did a podcast was probably October of last year. Probably. So it's probably been about a year now since I've been gone. And I've made a guest appearance on the Boys podcast. The Veteran Trash Talk Hour. Yeah. But other than that, I've been so busy because I've been, I moved to Florida. I've been trying to get everything situated, and then with the house and things, and then just getting my groove back and seeing, how everything goes. And so taking a year off really helped me get my footing. And so I was able to get in a good place where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back to podcasting. I miss it. I miss doing the Throat Punch Mondays, but I'm happy to be here on Mental Health Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since then, I have found a great organization, Irreverent Warriors, and they're actually international. And I am currently a local coordinator with them. And so what Irreverent Warriors does is they bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and to prevent veteran suicide. Because as you and I know, and a lot of people know, that the VA did conduct a study that an average of 22 veterans a day commit suicide, unfortunately, right? And that's just the face number. That's not considering, alcoholism, the drugs, and like people who, drink and drive and things like that. That's just the people who go to the VA and have reported with them. So the number can very well much be higher. But what we do at Irreverent Warriors is that we hold unique events. And so our events, they're called hikes, but really it's more like a ruck. And it's a leisure pace, 2 to 3 miles per hour. Any major city has it. Most major cities have them. As a matter of fact, I just came back from Nashville. But 2 to 3 miles per hour, and we call it Silky Saturday because we wear silkies, and we wear the ranger panties, which is hilarious, and then it's optional, right? So you can wear your rucksack, you can wear your combat boots, and we're non-political, so no political affiliation, but you can represent your branch of the military. And these hikes slash rucks, they're only for veterans, for military, active duty veterans, reservists, National Guard, and retired. And so that is the unique part about those hikes. We all get together, because only as veterans and what we've been through, we can connect with each other on a different level.
Yeah.
That whereas we can't really connect or get that camaraderie from the outside world. Um, so we do that. We get together and do that. We have hikes, or we have the flags. You can represent with your branch flag. So I like to bring my Navy flag because if you go to these hikes, you see lots of Marines. You see some Army guys, and there are a little bit of Coast Guard guys. I have yet to see Space Force, and there is a handful of there's a handful of Navy. So it's a good time. We do have stops like at my hike here in Jacks Beach, Florida. We stop at a beach park. We hike through the beach, so on the water and on the sand. And then there's a couple of restaurant stops slash bar stops, and then lunch stop. And then we try to make it a whole weekend. Where on Friday it's a meet and greet, on Saturday it's the ruck, and then on Sunday is a brunch.
Oh, nice.
So
I think, and if you well, you guys got a website, right? Reverence. Do they have a
yeah,
website? Yeah.
we're a 501 C3 nonprofit organization
Mhm.
and been around since 2015. IrreverentWarriors.com. You can find a hike near you, and a lot of us travel to different hikes. Like I said, I just came back from Nashville, and their hike was amazing.
Mhm.
I wasn't prepared for all the hills because
Are
I
you
live
ever
here.
prepared for heels when you live at sea
No.
level? Oh, no.
Right. So I was unprepared for that, but still a good time. It's always a good like it's something that you don't know that you need, right? And so
Yeah.
when once you come out and then you're fully out of the military, you're outside of of all that, and you forget what it's like. You forget that feeling where it's like we're all family, we're brothers and sisters. Like you pick
Mhm.
up and you talk to the next person next to you as if you've known them for like 10 years,
Yeah.
right? Or
Well,
as
I
if
think
you've
for a lot
actually
of
served.
veterans, they need that.
Right. And so it's something that it helps your own personal mental health.
Yeah.
So it's something that a lot of people don't know that they need, but once you're in it, it's like you feel really great. You feel good.
Well, when, you
But
go
then,
out there and you look at the Facebook photos or the Twitter photos, and you guys can follow me and follow, Pacificita out there. Um, you guys are always having a good time. Everybody's always laughing and having a
yeah,
good time, and I think for a lot of veterans who get out and maybe they're isolated or they don't have that close niche around them, loneliness can slip in, and it can just over time, just kinda get more and more and more and more. And sometimes it's hard to break that cycle.
yeah,
Just sometimes you just got to say, screw it. I'm going to see what they're doing this weekend, and I'm going to go join it and check it out and see what's going on. And hey, if you go to the meet and greet and don't want to do anything else, I'm sure that's fine too.
oh yeah,
Or just show up on Saturday and go for the hike. I'm sure they really don't care either way. We just get out and do something to break that cycle. And that's one thing that I've been talking about a lot this year on the Mental Health Warrior is, make little changes in your life, right? You don't have to. And Lynn and you and I talked about this the other day. Is sometimes people try to make big changes, right? And then you set yourself up for failure. But if you just try to do little changes, then you can get those little wins, and then those turn into big ones. And I think that, for Reverend, what is it called, the Reverend Warrior,
irreverent, irreverent
irreverent
warriors.
Irreverent Warrior. I think that's really great, and I think it's something that, if you're a veteran out there and you don't have much doing on the weekends, just take a look out there, go to their website, go see where that they'll probably be in a city close to you or around you, and just go check it out because I guarantee you, you're gonna have a good time and you're really gonna enjoy that. And that's just something that, when Lynn had talked about coming on being a co-host, I wanted her to talk about it because I know you enjoy it. I know you're very passionate about it. September is Suicide Awareness Month, but as I say, every minute, every hour, every second of every day is suicide awareness. For me, but and for everybody else. But today, in September, we just put a highlight on it, and I wanted her to talk about that because I think it is. I think it is important. I think it's you know some people can deal with loneliness, right? Some people like that. Some people that's their space, you know. But some people it's hard on them. I've went out and I've been doing book signings lately because of my book, and the Vietnam veteran population is really having a hard time dealing with a lot of loneliness out there now because a lot of their people they serve with have passed away. They're a lot older now, and so the depression and loneliness rates in the Vietnam veterans has really increased a lot in the last 10 years. And so I really try to help that population as much as I can to reach out and see how they're doing. And I think it's important to all veterans, but I think really that one right now is probably, I would say, is probably the most at risk right now, if I had to guess.
Yep, and they are also an aging population,
Mhm.
unfortunately. But also, like you said, you have to get up and actually go out and register or do these things. And a lot of times it's hard for people to get out there and put themselves out there. And so sometimes you just need that little push, or you need to get out there and just do it yourself,
Mhm.
because nobody else is ultimately, nobody's going to go out there and make you do something. So you're gonna have to put yourself out there, and that's a big deal for a lot of people, because veterans, unfortunately, we isolate, we keep things to ourselves, we downplay a lot of things, and
Yes.
so you kind of got to get over that hump. Now, the caveat to having all that fun and being around veterans is that there's something called post hike blues. Right,
Oh,
so you're talking about
yeah.
being lonely. So you're coming off this really, really, really big high, and then now all of a sudden you were around 200 other veterans that are cool for the whole weekend. Now you're back to your city or to your home, and you're alone again. So it's the whole point of Irreverent Words is to maintain those relationships that you do make, because yeah, we set up these events, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to maintain those relationships. It's up to you to reach out to one another. It's up to you to check up on each other
Yeah.
and maintain. That's how you keep going. That's how you improve mental health. That's how you prevent veteran suicide, is those connections that are made.
Hey, just shout out to Ryan Clark. He said he's an OEF veteran. Thanks for your service. Lynn, for people who don't know, you're a Navy veteran, right? You served in the Navy. And
Yes.
what was your job in the Navy? I don't remember. I know you've talked
Okay.
about it before.
So it's
I
kind of
have
a
to put
loaded
my glasses on. So, hey, real quick. So if you look to the right, because Lynn hasn't seen our new software yet, you look to the right, you see have the
question.
chat. But in order to
Yeah.
answer them, you have to log on to your Facebook page to answer them, or
Oh,
join the video stream to be able to talk to them. You can't do it on the screen. Sorry, guys. So
yeah.
yeah, so that's how I was able to do it. I logged on to the Facebook, see our stream, and then I'm able to type in and talk to them. So anyway, that's what I was doing. Okay, back to the story. What was your Navy career, and what did you do in the Navy?
So I did 10 years in the Navy, and I was an operations specialist. And so what we did was pretty much we were the scope dopes. We were at the radar, and we were in operations in the command and control center of the ship. So we're
Mhm.
looking at the radars. We're actually in the know of what our mission is and exactly what we're doing out there. And so on top of that, that's my base job. And then, like, my specialty in the Navy was air intercept control. So that's my NEC, air intercept control supervisor 0319. And so we actually go to Top Gun school for that. And
Oh,
so
really?
I yeah. So
That's cool.
it's they send the top 2% of OSs to through that school, at least back in my day, back in the
Yeah.
early 2000s. And for if you ever seen the movie Top Gun, they have a strike controller, right? And so that strike controller essentially are their eyes, because we have a larger scope of the radar to see this. We have that situational awareness, and we pass that to the pilots, and we do self escort strikes. We do missions. Um, there's all kinds of stuff that entails AIC. And so
Mhm.
what I like to say is I wasn't an air traffic controller, because air traffic
That's what I was
controllers
getting ready to ask you.
they keep airplanes apart and make sure
Yeah.
that they land safely, right? And they in their pattern. And I might just be downplaying that, I'm ignorant to what air traffic controllers do, but
Yeah.
essentially they're keeping the aircraft apart and making sure that everything's safe. I am bringing my aircraft to dogfights. Like, here's the bad guy. Here's the MiG 29. Let me go intercept that person or that that aircraft and tell them get out of our airspace. Or I'm telling these pilots where the coordinates are of where they need to make a drop, or we're doing surveillance or things like that. So there's a lot that goes into it, but gather, process, display tactical information to command and control centers is essentially what I did in the Navy. And I did 4 deployments back to back with the USS Nimitz CVN 68, Strike Group 11, if I can remember. It's been such a long time.
Did you ever go
But
across the equator? Do they still do that initiation when you go across
yes.
the equator?
So, um, it's funny because I can't talk to you about it because you've never done
I
it.
know I haven't.
So we call ourselves trustless shellbacks. But yeah, I've done the
Mm.
crossing the equator ceremony. So if you haven't crossed the equator, you're called a wug, a
Yeah.
disgusting slimy wug. And then once you crossed over and you went through the ceremony and you've talked to King Neptune and went through Davy Jones's gauntlet, um, that's when you become a trusty shellback.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, so
I wonder if they
all
still do that nowadays with all the anti-hazing and all that stuff to make things not fun anymore, but I wonder if they still
um
do that. Or has it toned it
so
down
I
some?
don't know about it. Well, back in my day, I know that because so before I was on an aircraft carrier, I was on a DDG. So I was on USS McCampbell DDG 85 when they first commissioned and was out of San Diego, and then they moved to Japan. I'm not sure where they're at. They might still be in Japan. I don't know. I know that the Nimitz is still on the West Coast, but not out of San Diego anymore. So back then they would do all kinds of hazing stuff, and then
Mhm.
they were allowed to make fun of the male gender and make them wear women, like dress up as women essentially and make
Yeah,
fun of them.
yeah,
I don't know if you can do that today.
right.
I don't think that's allowed anymore. But there's all kinds of things that we did that I shouldn't be talking about because you're not a shellback.
That's
Okay.
right. Well, we don't have to talk about it. I just asked the question, do they still do it? I didn't ask for details.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time.
That
I
just
don't
popped
know.
into
I
my
wish I
head.
could tell you. I hope that they do because it's a long-standing Navy tradition since the beginning of
Mhm.
time. And so I hope they still do it. I mean, even if they're not as hardcore or they're beating people up like back in the day. Back in my dad's day, I know they shaved people's heads off and like actually like hurt them
Oh, yeah.
and shaved half their mustaches. But I know for a fact that they don't do the chief initiation the same way. So I don't
Yeah.
think that they're going to be doing the shellback ceremony the same way.
No, probably not.
So,
Well, I
yeah.
know, I know my, wife, she still active duty Navy, just
Hmm.
promoted to captain, but when she promoted to, '05, was that lieutenant commander, um, she had already promoted, but at a later ceremony, one of her friends was promoting, and, the Army, they always walk up when you promote, and they don't put the backs on the rank, and they smack it,
Yeah.
and, she did
No,
that.
he does it right here. Boom.
Yeah, she did
Like on
that,
the
and,
collar.
she actually got wrote up for it.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
yeah, and just the stupidest thing ever. She's like, "I can't believe that they," and one of the people there was offended the fact that she did that, and the person knew she was gonna do it. It wasn't the person she did it to, it was somebody watching that filed a complaint. It was the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
People just
Joe
takes
says,
all the fun
"Where
out of
is
stuff.
your hat?"
They said it was, it wasn't hazing, it was something else they called it, I don't know. But yeah, it was kinda stupid. But
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the traditions are gone out the window, and a lot of them for good reason. A lot of it was dangerous
yeah,
and isolating, or
yeah,
you would ostracize people. Not that that's not fun. When it comes to safety reasons, I understand, but the core of it, like initiation or hazing
yeah,
or like tacking on the crows, is what we called it. You would tack
yeah,
on your crow. You would punch it.
yeah,
Um, there's I guess there's like a 2023
Oh, that's what
software
she
to
did. She
do it.
punched a girl in the chest. That's what she did.
Yeah,
I got
it's because it's on your
yeah,
in your collarbone. So
yeah,
our rank is on your collar, and so you
yeah.
tack it on because it's like, it's a pin. So you would just punch it on your chest or tack it on your chest.
Yeah,
Either
we
way.
did the same thing in the
Yeah.
army. You give them blood wings or whatever. You just snap it on there. And
Yep, that's what it is.
yeah,
When you
yeah,
get your wings or your, we call it ESWAS or EAWS, which is Enlisted Surface Warfare Specialist or Enlisted Air Warfare Specialist, which I'm both.
yeah.
But um, yeah. So I mean, I guess it's the same.
Well, let's hope they still keep up with some type of a tradition because I think, especially for me, when you go through those rites of passage or whatever you want to call them in the military,
Right.
you really felt like you went from this team to being part of the bigger team. Once you've done
True.
something that everybody else has done and now you've done it, now you're part of that bigger team. And I
Team
just
building.
hope that a lot of our traditions and things have gone away. I just hope that some of the ones are just very, and people who aren't in the military don't understand how important those are,
Well, it's kind of like
right?
in college, like fraternities and sororities, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
see them in the movies, and they do initiations, like, "Oh, I'm a pledge, and I have to do this," um, or even going as far as gang initiation. Like, it's also you can be so you can feel like you're part of the community, and
yeah.
so it's essentially team building, is what that is in corporate terms.
Hey, Joe wants to know where your hat is.
Which one?
I know that's what he said. He
I
says,
know.
"Lynn, where's your hat?" Did you see that?
I was just reading that earlier. It says, "Where's your hat?" I don't have it on, but I should, right? My cowboy hat
Yeah,
is
I
really
guess is that what he's talking about? Your cowboy hat? Is that what you're
yeah,
wearing when you're on the Reverend Warrior thing?
yeah.
Is
So
that the hat he's talking about?
it's really cool, right? Because I was in Nashville, and so they're all like woohoo cowboys and stuff
Oh
over
yeah,
there,
yeah, you're fitting right
and so
in.
they absolutely loved it. And what's funny is it looks like a Stetson for for cavalry or whatever. I'm not army, so I don't know.
Right.
But people were like, "Oh, I had to do a double take because at first I thought you were army, but your hat said Navy veteran." And
Mhm.
I was like, "Yeah," and they asked me where I got it. Well, funny story: when you go to the VA and they have all that booth where they have all the hats and all the
Mhm.
covers and all whatever you would call them, that's where I got it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so Navy veteran hat. They have them for every branch: Army, Marines,
Yeah.
Coast Guard. I don't know if they have it for Space Force. So
Well, maybe next Thursday you'll have the hat on. Yeah, maybe.
yeah,
It's funny you say that. So, of course, everybody knows that, my wife's being stationed in Naples, Italy, and last Monday they left and flew to Naples. So I'm here alone by myself. But it's funny. So, we always talk about, sometimes people forget that, women serve also, right? And
yeah.
and
Hmm.
so my wife's over there now. She's in '06. She's over there and she's in processing. And the lady's like, ask her a question. Oh, so where does your husband work? Oh, what does your husband do? And
Oh
she's like,
gosh, I
what?
hate
She's
that so
like,
much.
yeah, no, she's like, it took her a second, right, to figure out what she was asking, right? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm the
Mm-hmm.
active duty member. My husband's the dependent.
Exactly. I've seen the shirt that says that I am the veteran, not the veteran's spouse or not the veteran's
Yeah,
wife. Unfortunately, you still have that stigma, especially in cities where military is not that prominent.
yeah. Well, and
Where
she was
it's
there checking in with the younger one, right? She has Lloyd with
Mhm,
her. And so, I mean, you could see that she shows up with the kid, and so you would think that she's the
mhm.
dependent, I guess. I don't know why she didn't look at her. I don't know if she showed her ID card or not, but I mean, it clearly says, '06 captain, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to get over there so I can be in charge of the family support group.
FRG. I've never been
Is
part of
it-
that. I don't know what that's like.
Old
But
retired warrant officer running
I
that.
can
That's
give
going
you
to be fun.
advice. But
You you
I've
know,
ran into that same problem when I was doing a VA home loan, and they were like, "Okay, service member, here's your paperwork," and then they're like, "We need the service member to sign this," and they pass it over to my husband. I'm like, it's under me. I'm the primary. I'm the service member."
yeah.
So I mean, it just unfortunately that's women veterans still go through that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so she told me that the other day and she wasn't angry with the lady or anything. She just said it just took her a moment to realize what the lady was asking, because she's like, "No, I'm the active duty one, not him." But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I guess you never, I guess you shouldn't already automatically assume. But we do the same thing with our VA loans, because we both qualify for VA loans. So depending upon what
Mhm.
house we are, we flip flop them. Um,
Well, if
so
you're active duty, you have to pay like an extra or something, or there's like a fee. Whereas if you're a veteran, there's no fee. They waive that
yeah,
fee.
the VA
Yeah.
funding fee, which is I
Yeah.
think either 2 or 4% of the loan. It can be quite pricey.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you're right. Because if you're, I think it's 90 or 100%, then you don't pay the funding fee for the VA loans. So
Yeah. And so, well, that's why my husband is active duty as well.
yeah, he's
And
still on active duty, right?
yeah, he's still in active duty. He's out of Norfolk. Um, but yeah, that's why we have the loan under me so that we didn't have a funding fee. So the
So
more you
somebody
know.
just answered the question for, oh, the VA funding fee. Oh, you said that 30%. Okay, I
Okay,
guess it's lower than
30%
I
of
thought. Oh, okay, nice.
yours.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, so I mean, that's the first time I got hit when we were both active duty, got hit with that VA funding fee. I was like, man,
Mm-hmm.
what the heck's this about, man? But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Gotta keep
that
that.
sucked. But now we don't have to worry about it.
Right.
But hey, Lynn, with it, being Suicide Awareness Month and everything that's going on, and all the craziness going on in the world, we got about 10 more minutes of the show. But it's been kind of a fun show, just talking about bringing you back on. I'm really happy that you wanted to come back on and co-host with me, because I do enjoy visiting with you and talking. But I just want to spend a couple minutes. Talking about somebody who's maybe not in a good place right now, or somebody who, is having a rough time, rough go at it. I talked about it on my mental health minute. Is, last year I drove my Mustang all year, no issues, no problems. And this year I keep having little things pop up. The power steering hose broke. And the last weekend driving home from the show, my radiator fan, which is electric, shorted out, and I had to rewire that. And then now my fuel regulator's not working. It's just like one little thing after another. And all you can do outside of giving up is just to continue to move forward and fix it, and
So,
fix the little problems. And so if you're somebody out there who, I talk about this all the time. If you're, drinking too much, try to drink a little less. Don't stop drinking. Maybe drink 2 ounces less than what you normally drink.
mm,
And then maybe next time, drink a little lesser than that. And I just think that, if somebody's is in that position, and you always seem like you're always constantly fighting, 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 and that can wear on you after a while, and it can really start affecting you mentally. But even though you're fighting every single day, you're here
correct.
and you have the ability to fight, and that's a win. And sometimes I think we get too bogged down in, oh, I just can't get over this hump. I just can't get over this hump. I can't. But you're still there fighting,
I think it's
and you're still winning because you're still there, right?
I think it's important to realize that, it sounds cliche, but this too shall pass. Like with everything that happens in life, like we all go through it, and somebody out there might be going through it. You might be going through it. I'm going through it. But you just take it day by day, and it will
Yeah.
pass. It will eventually get better as long as you're able to pick yourself back up. It's okay to feel those feelings. It's okay to be down, but you have to
Yeah.
know that you matter, you're loved, and your presence makes a difference, whether you know it or not,
Yeah.
to somebody else in this world. And so just realize that everything that we go through will pass.
Yeah. And everything's temporary.
Correct.
I say this all the time because I'm a suicide survivor. Everybody knows that, and I wouldn't be sitting here had my brother not found me. But it's important to know that yes, everything will pass, and even if it doesn't seem like it's going to, it will. And one day things will get a lot better. It's just like yesterday. Yesterday, I don't know what went on. Here's a problem. Everybody's gone in the house, so I'm alone, right? And I don't drink that much anymore, so I'm really not doing that. But I've been playing the PS5 a lot, and because I'm here by myself, so now I can actually spend time doing it at night. Well, I have issues in my back, and so here I am, for hours
Mhm.
on end, which I'm not used to playing the PS5. Well, it started bothering my shoulder, and then I didn't go to yoga yesterday, so I was hurting real bad all day. I was just miserable all day,
One day it
and just
messes you
trying
up.
to.
If you miss one day of yoga, you can definitely
I know, right? It just screws me up. So I went back to yoga
yeah.
today, so I'm feeling all better now.
Good.
But yeah, I'm addicted to yoga. I talk about it all the time, and Monday for 9/11, they did a special event at the yoga studio I go to, and I was very thankful by that. Well, she gave free yoga to anybody who showed up. It was free yoga day,
Mhm.
and I did a book signing and sold about 10 books, and that was super exciting. And I posted some videos of it. But yeah, yoga I will has made a profound effect on my life.
It's
Just
amazing.
not only the physical aspects of stretching and all that every day, it's also the mental aspect because when you have PTSD and of course I have a TBI injury and ADHD related on that, being able to learn how to meditate and focus your mind on
That
things,
mindfulness.
um, it is, and that was hard for me. I had a hard time.
Oh yeah.
I have a hard time sitting in yoga class and not be thinking about 5,000 different things, and I still struggle with that today, but I'm a lot better than what I was
And
when I first started.
that's the true challenge right there is like when you're in shavasana in the dead man's pose is to keep your
Mhm.
mind still and quiet. Can you do that? Are you able to do that
Yeah,
and just enjoy the moment right there? And that's what a lot of
yeah.
people have a hard time with. But once you enjoy that moment and you're focused on every part of your body,
Mhm.
relaxing it, that is the challenge. Yes, the yoga
Yeah.
poses are hard, but anyone who's followed me on Throat Punch Mondays or even with your podcast knows I'm a huge advocate for yoga. I love it.
Yeah,
Mind, body, and soul. All of it, all three of
yeah.
them. It's super healing.
Well, I don't take any medications anymore.
Mhm,
Yoga and in a year and work and where I say this working with my doctor, disclaimer. I don't take any pain medications. I don't take anything. And if like the other day when I was playing the game and I did it to myself, that's why because I have issues in my back. It was from my own inactivity and sitting in the same spot for whatever. I could have easily got on the floor and did a child's pose or some, cat cows to
mhm.
stretch it back out. And, that would have been fine. But hey, if anybody out there's listening and you're a man, go do yoga, Nick. You'll love it,
So good.
yo.
Mhm. Even if
You
you're
know,
a
it's,
bodybuilder, like yoga will help you like your range of motion a lot
oh, yeah.
better too,
Oh, yeah.
so it's
Well,
for
when I
everybody
first
really.
started, I couldn't barely touch my knees, and now I can put my hands flat on the
Mhm,
ground. We do pigeon pose where you have your leg up. I'm pretty much I'm laying flat. I
mhm.
can't quite do the splits yet, but I'm a thousand times more flexible. But
Yeah.
here's another thing: my joints don't hurt as bad anymore.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And that's
You're
another
building
thing I
that
was
muscle
surprised
strength,
about.
so yeah, when
Stretching
you're
out and
building
stuff.
that yeah, when you're building the muscle strength, it helps your joints. I'm not a doctor, but I've seen the effects of yoga.
Yeah.
'Cause this
Well,
there's a amazing
one thing I've
video.
noticed too is my circulation's better.
Mhm.
The definition in my legs and things like that, and like your different veins and stuff, because you're using so much of these little muscles that you haven't used for years, and
Yep.
it makes things. Sometimes my body gets so wound up with yoga, right? Is a weird feeling that you'll get like these pulsating heat, going through your body because you're raising your energy level.
Mhm.
And when that first starts happening to you, it kind of freaks you out a little bit. But you just don't
Oh, yeah.
realize just how electrical your body is and how much when you wasn't doing that affected you. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was this video that was going around years ago of this man who was overweight and really unhealthy, and then he started doing yoga, and then you could just see the transformation of him doing it for a whole year every single day, and it was just really amazing when his range of motion was zero, like little to nothing, to like pretty much um, doing handstands, headstands,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we
like
we did
yeah,
that. We do that in yoga. I haven't done a handstand in 20 years. And we get on the ropes and we hang upside down on the ropes. I think I've posted videos of or pictures of us doing that. And I
oh,
was kind of nervous the first time I did it,
aerial
but I
yoga.
just did it just fine. And then she wanted us to do that, and then you roll down off the wall backwards because you got your back up against the wall like this, right? And then you want
Mhm.
to come forward with your legs and you rotate your shoulders. The first time I didn't do that, I was nervous, but the second time I did, it was just fine. I already had that range of motion in my shoulders. It's pretty amazing, and I loved it. So yeah, I do yoga 4 to 5 times a week. Except for this week, I've only done it
I love
3,
it.
but I'll go tomorrow. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. I think I have an appointment. If I don't go tomorrow, maybe I'll go tomorrow night.
And
But anyway,
it's just like any place you go to, you have to find a good yoga studio that you fit in or that you like.
yeah.
So even if you go to one and you don't like that, don't knock it. Like try a
Mhm.
different studio because there's also different yoga practices. But
Yeah.
we can like literally do a whole show on yoga. I promise you. Like,
You know what? We probably should. Maybe I get Alice to come on. He owns a yoga studio I go to and talk about it because she's big into yoga. Now she's big into grounding. I'm big into grounding too. And she's really got in that. And she's got yoga mats now that will ground you while you're doing yoga. And I sleep on the grounding bed system. So when I sleep at night, I'm grounded to the earth because I really think it makes a big difference. But
yeah.
hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. You're going to see the show change a little bit now that Lynn's on and here, and I'm super excited about that. But as we wind down, hey, it's September, it's Suicide Awareness Month. Let's look out for each other. Let's make sure that they don't have to be a veteran, but if a family member, somebody has gone quiet or just kind of seem off, maybe they're not suicidal, but maybe they're just having a bad day. Let's give them a call, see how they're doing. Let's reach out. Let's be our brothers and sisters keepers. But it's very important. If you want to re-listen to this podcast, you can. It's on Reads Across America Radio. They play it up Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. And like I said before, it's super easy to find. You just go out to your iHeartRadio app, your TuneIn app, or your Odyssey app, and search for Reese Across America Radio, and it comes up. But along with that, I talked about it, and I haven't yet, but I want to talk about it now. The season 2 Mental Health Warrior T-shirts are out. Of course, I got the green Mustang on there again. I think I'm going to change the design of the front again. But it's on the back. I don't know if you've seen these yet, Lynn. So this is what I have on the
Oh,
back.
what a good one.
The person behind me, you're a warrior, you're worthy, you matter. The person in front of you.
Oh,
So
I
that was a
love
little saying that I came up, and I
awesome.
like that saying because I think
That would be great
everybody
on the hikes.
do. Yeah, I'll send you one.
Yeah.
I'll send you one.
Thanks.
Text me your size, and I'll get one in the mail with your book that I still got to mail you. I'm going to mail stuff out tomorrow. I got quite a few books I got to mail out tomorrow. So I've been kind of lazy working on the Mustang today, but I got to get the books out. So hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Please, if you'd like to get a copy of the Mental Health Warrior, 9/11, but also about other stories that went on in my life, from the boat rescue and other things. But more so, it not only does it detail what I went through on 9/11, it also has other people's stories on 9/11, because I think a lot of times people forget about the Pentagon, because not so many people passed away, and they always talk about the World Trade Center in New York. But it's just as devastating here in DC as it was in New York. But hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to pass it over to Lynn to give the last word, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody. I'm just gonna piggyback off of Cliff here. I got your 6. Your brothers and sisters got your 6. I got that tattoo. Not all
Mm-hmm.
wounds are visible, and not everybody who wanders is lost. So make sure you look out for one another and look out for yourself. Get with the yoga program. Maybe
Yeah,
get do
that's
something,
right.
do something. For yourself.
Yeah.
And as always, check out our website, veterantrashtalk.com, as well as
Mhm.
irreverentwarriors.com. That's all I have.
That's right. Well. Hey, Lynn. Later on your social media, can you post the Reverend Warrior website so everybody can go out there and find it?
Oh, for sure. I'll do
Okay,
that.
good. Yeah. So yeah, be sure and follow her on all social media. Follow me on social media. Go out, follow Veterans Trash Talk. Be sure to go to Veterans Trash Talk YouTube page and click subscribe. We're trying to get our subscribers up there for the Saturday show. Is very important. As we try to help the veteran community here and try to get the 22-day number down. And like I always say, one's too many, for it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And I know that because I lived it. But hey, everybody, have a great evening. Have an awesome weekend. Be safe out there, and take care.